Eric Turner, new CEO of Messari. Welcome to the Defiant. It's so great to have you here for the first time.
Yeah, great to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Of course. So obviously Messari is one of the biggest names in data in the blockchain space. And you've been a part of the organization for a while. But I'd love to just start off with getting to know you better, and then we can dive into Messari and Mainnet. But to start, just learn more about your background and how you got to join Messari.
Yeah, sounds good. You can certainly say I've been at the company for a while. So I'm actually, I was the first employee. So joined the company back when we were founded in January 2018. Prior to that, I had spent most of my career in finance. So I was one of those converts. There are many of us. I heard about Bitcoin first in 2013, spent a few years ignoring it. And then really in 2016, it was Ethereum that really got me into crypto. So while I was at S&P, I was a fintech research analyst, and I was covering a lot of startups, but I was also covering the blockchain and crypto space. So this was 2016, 2017, writing a lot about the space, covering Bitcoin and, some of the tokens. This was back when we had ICOs and everything come to market. So I ended up meeting our co-founder Ryan at an event here in New York City while I was still at S&P. And we were talking about the state of ICOs, the kind of lack of transparency that was happening back then. You were raising money with a white paper and a promise. And sometimes back then it was, 20, 30, $40 million. And we just started thinking of ways that you could actually bring more transparency to this space, and really thinking of it from the perspective of investor education. If you look at traditional markets, you have things like the Edgar system that is used for public company filings. You have SROs, and you have all of these ways to bring more information forward about investments and things that people are actively purchasing. So long story short, ended up getting a call a couple months later from him saying, "Hey, I'm starting this company. Do you want to join?" Didn't take too much convincing, and made the jump full-time to crypto back then in 2018.
So yeah, it's definitely a while ago, and the first employee and now CEO. And without getting into so many details or like the controversy around it, but you did come on as a CEO. Maybe at least from the outside, it looks like a volatile moment for Messari. Ryan had been making louder and louder social media posts, and it was right after that he left Messari and you came on. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Was Ryan's communications affecting Messari, and that's why he left, or why did you decide to step in as CEO at that time?
Yeah, I think there's always a difference between public perception and what's happening internally at a company. For us, this has been a really busy year, and we've been really building towards a lot of the products that we're going to release at the end of this month at our Mainnet conference. So, most of the time internally, we've really just been focused on building those products, building out that roadmap, and getting ready to deliver a lot of the things that I'm really excited to announce publicly on September 30th.
In terms of leadership style, what would you think will be your difference from, Ryan has been leading Messari all this time. Will you take the company in a different direction strategically, or maybe will you have a different style, or will things continue on the same path that you've been?
Yeah, great question. So one of the things I'm really enjoying most about this role is I get to spend a lot of time with all of the teams internally. So when I joined the company, I actually joined as the head of research. I've done a lot of different things. So I was on the research team leading that effort. I spent a lot of time helping build out our market intelligence products. So a lot of the things that you see today that a lot of people know Messari for. And then about a year and a half ago, I actually took over our sales team. So I was spending a lot of time with our end customers, really had an understanding of all of the things that we had built, and more importantly, how those could help our customers. And ended up really enjoying that as well, spending some time with our sales team, spending some time with our larger customers. So when I think about, what seems like a big change stepping into a CEO role, it really just feels like a natural evolution. And it's given me more time to work with our product and engineering team and work on some of our high-level road mapping. And when we think about where we are today and where we're headed in the future, I was doing some reflecting earlier this month, just looking at some of the things that we've been building and some of the things that we want to build in the future. And, our mission's never changed. We started the company, really focused on helping people make smarter decisions in the crypto space, bringing transparency to the industry. And it's almost come full circle now, where a lot of the things that we've built and a lot of the relationships that we have, we're still doing the same things. We're still focused on that transparency aspect. We're still helping give people all of the information that they need, be it data or research, to not only have that information in front of them, but to have the context they need as well. So, long story short, no, I don't think anything changes in terms of what Messari is and what our go-forward plan is.
Great. Okay, and then one of the things that Messari is very well known for is the Mainnet conference, and that's coming up. So wanted to talk about that as well. Mainnet has really become one of the major crypto conferences, but there is just like more competition in that space. There's just like a growing amount of conferences. So how would you want Mainnet to distinguish itself?
Yeah, I think the unique thing about Mainnet, and there's a reason we host it in New York every year, is we really think of it as an opportunity to bring together people that are building things within the crypto space. So protocol founders, network founders, everybody that works so hard to build things on a day-to-day basis. We want to bring them together with the actual end users that we see being large, long-term end users. So, we bring in a lot of financial institutions, a lot of tech firms. It's really meant to be a way for executives and founders to have a space where we don't want this to be a 20,000 person conference. We want it to be something that's a little bit more intimate, gives people the ability to not only watch the sessions and see what's going on stage, but also spend some time together and, really focus on networking and having those conversations. When we started Mainnet, we started it back in 2020, actually. So this was, it was a remote conference first because the pandemic was going on, but this was also around the time that DeFi was emerging. And when I think about, Mainnet today, it still really holds true to a lot of those DeFi roots, the financial aspects of crypto, the things that we could build there. We're going to focus a lot on, DePIN and some of the more emerging trends we've seen there. And then obviously, all of the networks and the scaling solutions that are helping these things happen.
Interesting. Cool. Okay. So it's more like finance, institutions, like New York network kind of focus, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, again, it's, a lot of the people that you would see in New York, which is a financial capital of the world, we want to bring everybody together in a place like that. You mentioned competition with other conferences. I go to most of the conferences. I really enjoy them. And I think all of them have, a unique aspect to them that makes them really exciting. And we hope that Mainnet, what makes it unique is that focus on all of the, things that we're building and that financial aspect of it.
What are the highlights that you're looking forward to this year?
So selfishly, I think I mentioned this before, but this is going to be probably in terms of product announcements for Messari, the biggest Mainnet. Can't give away too much there, but our opening on day one of the conference is going to include some of the really exciting things that we've built over this past year. A lot of them haven't been revealed yet. So, we think of it as a way not only to bring everybody together, but obviously for Messari to show off some of the things that we've been building. So I think that kickoff is going to be, a really good showing, not just for, us, but really for the team itself, and get some of these things in front of our customers, which, Messari customers and our network really make up a lot of the people that attend this conference. And then in terms of the programming, again, I think we rethought some of the ways that we built out the conference this year. So I'm sure you follow people on Twitter and you see this feedback a lot. People go to conferences and they walk away and they say, you know what? Less panels, please. I've seen enough panels. I think we've done enough panels throughout the years. So we're still going to have some panels. I think you can have great conversations there, but we're also mixing in some different types of programming. So, some more fireside chats. We have an area we're calling Crypto Convene, where we can actually host whiteboarding sessions, do something that doesn't have a screen up, doesn't have a monitor, doesn't have a prepared presentation, do these smaller scrums. So again, it's a way for people to get together, to have actual conversations and, not just sit there and watch programming all day.
What role does Mainnet have inside of Messari?
Yeah, it's a good question, because we're not a conference company, right? I think, if we were, we'd be targeting a much larger conference. That would be, one of the ways that we want to generate a bunch of revenue. But no, for us, Mainnet is two parts. I think it's a great way to bring everybody together, and I think it's a great thing for our team to celebrate a lot of the wins throughout the year and show off a lot of the things, again, that we've built, target a lot of product releases. So, a little internal milestone that we have is always for the engineering and product team to release some of our biggest things for Mainnet, so that we always have something to strive towards. We have this big goal, let's get ready for Mainnet, let's release it then. So we think of it, I don't love the term user conference. Like if you think of Salesforce, they have Dreamforce, which is all just Salesforce focused. That's not the goal of it, but for us, it's definitely something where it just gives us a chance, especially with everybody working remote for the most part now, to talk to some of the people that, use our product and understand, how it's useful for them.
Oh, interesting. So it's a conference that serves to kind of showcase what Messari is building, get your team in front of users, and not so much a way to bring in revenue?
Yeah, I think that's, there's a reason this year you're going to see we're actually going to have the entire Messari team out for Mainnet. So this is the first year. Usually we've had, most of our product and our sales team there, but we're going to have, I think it's about 130 employees there this year. And I think it's a great chance. Again, I think we highlight a lot of the speakers, and I think that's an incredibly important part of it. But, when we think about it internally, it's also just a great way to bring everybody closer to our customers and, hear what people like and hear what people might need.
One topic that's become kind of recurring in crypto conferences is just the amount of side events that start to take away from the main event. Like people will travel in case of Mainnet to New York for Mainnet, but maybe they'll end up going to all the side events and not Mainnet itself. Is that a risk that you're thinking of? Because it has happened, or it's what crypto Twitter says happens in other kind of big conferences.
That's one way to look at it, though, but I actually think the sign of a successful conference is people are hosting side events around your event, right? That means it's become something. It's almost become a brand name where people know that everyone's going to be there and that there's a reason for them to host a side event. So I remember being excited. I think the first year we did Mainnet in person, which was back in 2021, I was like, wow, people are hosting side events around our conference. So we actually have a conference that's important enough for people to be doing that. So I always think, again, I think it's a testament to putting on a good event. If, you can bring people into an area, bring them to a city, and I think, the side events are just always a plus.
So in terms of speakers, any kind of big gets this year for you guys?
Well, I think that's that's actually a good thing to bring up now because we just released our agenda. So that was released yesterday. If you go to mainnet.events, you can check it out and see everybody that's speaking. But it's again, I think one of the things that Mainnet has always done is really focused on the programming. So we make sure that we're bringing in top-notch speakers and that there's actually something for them to be discussing, something that's topical at the time. So, we're going to have founders from teams like Polymarket and Monad and, a lot of the things that I think are really important right now and really interesting. And then we're actually going to have, some people from like the regulatory and the policy side. So it's going to be a good mix. You're not going to get just people that are doing technical discussions. You're not going to just get, policy updates from people. It's really going to spread between protocol founders, network founders, all of the investors, and then, some of the people that I think hopefully are going to be shaping policy here in the U.S. and abroad.
And then speaking of policy and politics, because that was a big thing for Ryan. I'm wondering if that will continue to be something that you care about or that Messari is active in. There have been companies in crypto that do take a more or less active role in politics, like donating to certain parties, or will Messari have opt for a more like neutral stance?
The way that we're thinking about it right now, I think there are two parts to this. So for the first part, we're a New York-based company. So I think that, the success of crypto in the United States obviously matters a lot for us. And I think a lot of that success is going to come from sensible policy and, having some sort of sensible regulation. But if you also look at the industry right now, I think it's incredibly exciting to look on the global stage. I mean, we're actually starting to see regulatory frameworks come out around the world. So you have MiCA in the EU, you have Hong Kong, you have Singapore, you have VARA in Dubai. You have people that are actually thinking, about how they bring crypto to their jurisdictions, how they can actually support this growth. And I think sometimes people think of regulation as, a dirty word, right? Like, we don't need regulation. We don't want regulation. I've spent a lot of time looking at, what the actual spirit of these regulations are. What are people trying to do? And it's something that's, close to my heart in terms of it's investor or user education, right? It's providing transparency. It's providing information that can help them understand what they're interacting with, what they're purchasing on an exchange. So I think for us right now, a lot of our focus is, yes, here on the US and obviously building for all of our customers here. But we're really excited to spend a lot of time just looking at the, global crypto landscape and working closer with not only partners and regulators abroad, but, really just helping to understand what's out there and, to the extent we can, shape what some of that looks like.
I guess Messari is in a different position relative to other crypto protocols and companies in that you don't have a token. There's no kind of money flowing through. People are not trading or transacting on a protocol that you created. So, right, for you, it's more about education, right? Like informing users what the different policies are and like regulations are in different jurisdictions. Is that how you would view it?
Yeah, my dream scenario is that we can play a part in helping the entire crypto industry grow. So, that could be working on the regulatory side and, helping people understand regulation. That could be working with people that might have a token with the protocols to get better information out to their communities, to help them grow what they've been building and working so hard on. On the other side, working with the institutions, the enterprises, the exchanges, custodians, wallets, to help them ensure that they are building and that what they're actually building is, compliant or follows the rules of the road in certain jurisdictions, that we can help them grow, but we can help them do it in a responsible way so that they don't have to deal with any headaches in the future. So, yeah, we sit in a very unique space, right? We are, a data and research firm, I think is how a lot of people see us. But I like to think that we do a lot more. I like to think that we don't have a token, we're not an exchange, but we do sit in a position where I think we can help lift the entire industry, not just here in the US, but around the world.
Speaking about related to this, like your broader vision for Messari, not just related to regulation, but where would you want Messari to sit, or like what role would you want it to have in the crypto industry, I don't know, in the coming years, if everything goes right?
That's a great question. So I think, it's very similar to some of the things that I've mentioned. I think for us, we want to be the go-to source of information for anyone that is taking crypto seriously. So that could be someone that's been in the industry, or, a company that's been in the industry for a long time. That could be one of the new institutions, financial institutions we see getting into the space that need to quickly understand things and be able to figure out, what exactly they want to do with crypto. So, my dream is that we sit at the intersection of everything that's being built on the protocol and the network side, and then everything on the other side where the actual, users and businesses being built on top of these networks sit.
Very cool. So be kind of the guiding kind of hand or light for people, newcomers and people exploring crypto, just increasing transparency, I guess. Yeah,
I like the the guiding aspect of that. Maybe you can help us write some of our marketing, but
oh yeah.
No, that's exactly it. It is. It's really, and I mean it when I say it. That's something we've been building towards for years. Is just helping people to understand the space and to make smarter decisions as they participate in it.
Now, in terms of the announcements that you're planning for Mainnet, I know you can't reveal much, but what hints can you provide? Like in what aspects or areas will these announcements be?
Well, I've been dropping some breadcrumbs throughout this conversation, so for anybody that's listening, maybe you can start to piece it together. I will get in so much trouble from our product team if I give away too much, but I will say that we've been doing a lot of work on a few fronts. So I think working with communities to bring forward better data for protocols and networks, put it in a place that's easily discoverable. Make sure that, this is something that's freely accessible and, everybody that's participating in a community can access. We're trying to make it easier for people to interact with our data. One thing as a data platform is we have so much information, and it almost gets to the point where you have too much information. There's so much to discover and read in the Messari product. So we've been working on some really cool tools that we'll definitely announce on day one of Mainnet that are going to just make it a lot easier, not only to find things on Messari, but to really piece things together, to understand, immediately you can come with a question and you'll walk away with an answer within 30 seconds. That's our goal with some of the things that we're releasing. And then, I spent a lot of time talking about just, helping businesses with some of the global regulations and things like that. So you'll also see an announcement around that.
Super interesting. Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to that and covering it at the Defiant. So, Eric, thank you so much for joining me. Great to hear all of the, your vision for Messari and what's coming up on at Mainnet. And I'll hopefully see you there.
Yeah, no, I'll see you there, and hope to see everybody September 30th in New York.